Alright guys, today we are talking about inner game. And this inner game is very important. Okay. So many people, they are misguided into exterior self-improvement. They believe that to be the pinnacle of their life. They believe that if they LooksMax enough, if they get the attention of enough girls, then their life is complete. You know, some of them are naive enough to think like that. And then you get people, you get the LooksMaxes running around just recording themselves, chasing shallow validation. Like it's all stupid, you know what I mean? You're like, bang, 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 bang. Get rid of it. So, I'm talking about how to program your mind for success. Now, a lot of people, they could do all the exterior self-improvement. They could literally get plastic surgery and become very beautiful, but they could still hold that old perception of themselves, which can be very poor, when they could look physically beautiful, but they could still carry around this self-loathing and, just always feel like they're not good enough wherever they might be. So this is where psycho-cybernetics comes in. And the author, Maxwell Maltz, was a plastic surgeon. So he would do surgery on someone, make them look really beautiful, and then that person's personality would change. It's like they started to embody a successful type, like a successful personality. And it's all to do with their own self-perception. But he would make another person beautiful, seemingly ordinary, and that person sort of carried around his old self-perception, like they still moved around like they were ugly, and they still carried like a defeatist attitude. Like they became physically beautiful, but when they looked at themselves in the mirror, they still saw an ugly person. Okay, so this is it's a very important thing, these techniques, and to do that inner work, because this thing carries on for the rest of your life. Like we're all going to end up as potatoes at the end of the day. And in my opinion, this kind of work, well, it should be obvious, but this kind of work is far more fruitful than, going to the gym or learning some sort of Red Bull pickup artistry, or going to the club, trying to get girls to fulfill insecurities. And if you're living your life just trying to quell your insecurities, then you're going to be misguided, that your life isn't going to be headed towards in the direction of self-actualization. So, yeah. So the technique, the overarching technique from the book is visualization. You see, in our minds, we have these grooves, right? We have these grooves in our minds, and these grooves are they are our neural networks, and these grooves, they're like rivers, and the more you think about a certain thing, the more you think a certain feeling, a certain behavior, a certain thought pattern, the deeper those grooves get. So that kind of makes up your personality, your subconscious, your own paradigm. So if like a black pillar, for example, is constantly telling themselves that it's over, that they can't make it, they consume black pill media, they're essentially reaffirming beliefs in their own minds and in their deeper subconscious minds that they can't make it. So every thought we have, everything we consume, every bit of media we consume is programming our personality. It's programming our subconscious. This is why I try and make my room look beautiful, because it's like I'm bathing in my beautiful energy, and it's like telling my mind beauty. I hope that makes sense. But furthermore, I take it so seriously, I've even created my own subliminal messages. And because like all the music you listen to, it's literally programming your mind. I remember I used to listen to like a lot of like really kind of I don't know, it's almost like trash punk rock, I'll call it. The band's called Black Flag. And if I listen to that band for like a couple of weeks, even though it kind of like, it sort of like sparks up a lot of energy in me. But for the next week, I will just feel like ass. Because I'm programming like their ideology, their worldview into my mind. And because humans, you know that saying, like you become your 5 closest friends? It's like just from osmosis, we absorb the values and the beliefs of other people. And the same thing happens when, when whatever media, whatever YouTuber you're watching, the same thing's happening. And, if you want to get conspiratorial, this is also why movies have become so shit and so woke, is because they want to program the culture for us. They want to program our beliefs for us. So, most modern fucking Netflix show I can't stand to watch. I have to stop watching because it pisses me off. It's just so bad. So, yeah, like when you realize this, when you realize it is program or be programmed, it becomes really crazy when you see people like tell themselves they can't make it. When people are watching media, they can't make it. Like this is kind of like my point when I talk about the black pill as well. It's like I'm not denying there's facts to it, but it's like, why would you psychologically cut yourself? See, you could think of things to empower yourself, or you could think of things to psychologically cut yourself. And it's like, why would you do that? So on this topic of programming yourself for success, I remember when I was very young, I wasn't that young, it was about 7 years ago now, I would do these guided visualization meditations. And it's like visualizing your dream life. And so the act of visualizing is programming your subconscious, it's programming your personality. Your mind can't tell the difference between imagination and reality. This is why you can imagine a scenario and feel a lot of anxiety from it. Or you can imagine any scenario and feel like arousal or excitement, right? Because, our brain is literally recreating reality through the 5 senses and, constructing neural pathways based off that. So our imagination and like our memory is literally just activating those neural pathways. So you can imagine scenarios very intensely with a lot of emotion, and imagining the scenario with a lot of emotion is the key. That sort of cements the neural pathways and makes it real, and that makes it sort of stick around in your subconscious. But you need to stick to it. Most people recommend like 30 days or like 15 days, but you need to stick to it. And it may seem boring. To be honest, I didn't find it boring. I didn't find the book boring at all. I thought the information was so amazing. I was hooked. But you guys need to be thinking for your future selves. You guys need to realize the massive return on investment. You are your best investment. It is completely foolish to not want to invest in yourself, especially if you're a young man or woman. It's foolish to not invest in yourself in the like the most that you can. So I'll just give you guys like a quick example of how it works. Say you have like a job interview coming up, or you have a speech that you're preparing for. Like you would imagine this speech or this job interview, like you would imagine the questions or what you're going to say, and you want to imagine it in detail. And as you're imagining this, you want to feel how good it feels to win at whatever you're doing. How good it feels to succeed at what you have just done. So doing that, it's creating the new neural pathways of success, of confidence. Sorry. And that way, when the real thing comes, that job interview or that speech, your brain has already created those neural networks. So it's like you effortlessly go into that part of yourself which is already confident, which is already ready, which has already won. And this is kind of like why winners keep on winning, is because they've already built up that confidence, that optimism, that winning mindset, right? And, you get to take charge. And guys, again, you need to stick to it, okay? You need to stick to it. Do it, like, visualize, do a guided meditation for 15 days. I'm telling you, I know for myself that the results are so damn real, okay? I used to be very, very shy, very anxious, you know, many years of poor conditioning and being lonely and being chronically online. You know, those things have stuck around, and, you know, they hurt. And I've been able to change and to use that pain and gain wisdom from it. You know, it sort of forced me to say, hey, I don't want to be like this. How do I grow and be my best version, and be the best version of myself? And now I'm just giving it back. So, yeah. If you like what I have to say, if you agree with my viewpoint, then please subscribe and leave a comment. I really, really appreciate it. Alright. Namaste. Have a good day. Meditate twice a day. See you later. Goodbye.